Welcome back to Gurudeva online class. Myself Siddesh, 7th social science teacher. Dear student, in the last class we had discussed one of the very important lesson from the civics part and the third lesson from the civics part, that the directive principle of state policy. So in that lesson, in the previous class, we discussed what is the meaning of directive principle of state policy, what is the importance of directive principle of state policy, and what are the directive principle of state policy. As you know that there are 11 directive principle of state policy. Among those, in the previous class, we discussed 7 directive principle of state policy. Those are: the first one, social justice; the second one, social justice to the weaker section; and the third one, women and child welfare; and the fourth one, labor welfare; and the fifth one, aid to the helpless; and the sixth one, uniform code of law to all; and the seventh one, prohibition of liquor. So these 7 we discussed in the previous class. So today class we are going to discuss the remaining directive principle of state policy. Those are agricultural and association of animal husbandry, environment, protection of historical monuments, and international peace and security. So these are the remaining directive principle of state policy. Yes, so let us discuss one by one the remaining directive principle of state policy. In that 8th one, agricultural and association of animal husbandry. It is one of the very important directive principle of state policy. Our constitution strictly directed to the state government that the state government should to organize agricultural and animal husbandry in a modern and scientific manner, because the main intention of our government to develop our agricultural field. For that purpose, it has taken many steps to solve the problems of agriculture, like land reforms, and also Food Security Act 2013, and a minimum support price, and also the crop insurance, and also nowadays the government is going to give the subsidy, and also the government is going to give the loan with the less interest. So these are the a few steps taken by the government to solve the problems of agriculture, and also to prevent the slaughter of cattle, calf, and other animals which give the milk and pull heavy luggage. So this is the 8th one of the very important principle, that agricultural and association of animal husbandry. The 9th directive principle of state policy, that environment, protection of environment and wildlife, protection of environment from the pollution of industries and mines, because the nowadays the environment is going to polluted by the different ways: air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution also. So it is our duty to protection our environment. Then why should we protection our environment? Because if we protect our environment, then we get a good air and water. So that it is our duty to protection our environment. Even though the government also, it has taken many steps to protect our environment. So let us discuss few steps which are taken by the government to protect the environment. Those are: plant a tree, use long lasting bulbs, conserve water, no use to plastic, rainwater harvesting, and alternative source of energy. Use the alternative source of energy. So these are the a few steps taken by the government to protect our environment. But also, so nowadays we are going to see our environment. It is going to polluted by the industries, by the using of more vehicles, and one more a very important reason to pollution our environment, that increase the populations. But it is our duty to protect our environment. So this is a ninth directive principle of state policy. Yes, the 10th directive principle of state policy, that protection of historical monuments. As you know that India and even the Karnataka also, it has many historical places like Beluru, Halebeedu, Aivale, Pattadakallu, Bijapura and Hampi also. So these are the a few important historical places we can see in Karnataka. So we should protect these historical monuments. Then why should we protect the historical monuments? Because of these are the reflection of our history, and also it helps us to understand a people who lived in a different area with different habits and tradition, and also it is very useful to our next generation. By the seeing of these monuments, we come to know their traditions and customs, so that it is our duty to protect our historical monuments. So this is a 10th directive principle of state policy. The 11th directive principle of state policy, that international peace and security. Participation of the country in safeguarding the international peace and security, it is one of the very important directive principle of state policies. It is one of the very important duty of all state government to maintain the peace and security. So as you know that after the Second World War, what happened? To maintain the peace and security, the all nations, they stood together and they made one of the very important organization, that UNO, United Nations Organization. It was established on 1945, October 24. What is the main intention of this UNO? That to protect the international peace and security. And also the government also nowadays it has taken many steps to maintain the peace and security also. Like it strictly prohibited some social evils and illegal activities like drugs and human traffic, and also the one of the very important illegal activities, that terrorism. So this kind of activities strictly prohibited by the government. So this is the 11th, one of the very important directive principle of state policy, that international peace and security. So these are the 11 directive principle of state policies. Dear student, the constitution has given many directions to the state government. But in case if any violation of these principles, the constitution cannot be questioned in any court. For example, if you see the last 6 decades, the government couldn't enforce any law to prohibition of liquor, but no one can be questioned in any court. So these are the 11 directive principles of state policies. My dear student, in this class we discussed the 4 remaining directive principles of state policy. Those are the first one, agricultural and association of animal husbandry, and environment and protection of historical monuments. The last one, international peace and security. So my dear student, in this lesson we discussed what is the meaning of directive principle of state policy, what is the importance of directive principle of state policy and what are the directive principle of state policy. We will meet in the next class. Bye my dear students.